I'm Elaine Quijano. At least 59 people are dead and more than 500 others are injured following the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Concertgoers screamed and ran for their lives. Some hid behind concession stands or under parked cars as bullets rained down on an outdoor country music festival in Las Vegas. Authorities say 64-year-old Stephen Paddock opened fire Sunday from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, targeting a crowd of more than 22,000 people down below. So far, a motive has not been determined. John Blackstone is there.
Country music star Jason Aldean was on stage when the firing began. Shortly after 10 o'clock local time. But it took a full 20 seconds for people to realize this wasn't fireworks.
I'm pretty sure it's a firecracker. There's no way that's a gun.
Then came chaos. The sound of automatic weapon fire mixed with pandemonium.
Shots fired. There's many people down.
The shooter paused several times.
Go! Babe, you're okay. Let's go. We can't go yet.
Gail Davis held onto a police officer for dear life.
And then we thought, okay, it's over. And then it would start again.
Some people ran, others sought cover behind walls and gates. Still others froze in the open. This woman simply ducked.
Oh, everyone was just like literally laying on top of each other, trying to get out of the way, and the shots just kept coming.
People desperately sought help for the wounded, any way they could.
We need your truck. We just need to get people over to the hospital, okay?
Hey, we can't worry about victims. We need to stop the shooter before we have more victims. Anybody have eyes on this shooter?
Meanwhile, police searched for the gunman.
We're taking gunfire. It's going right over our heads. There's debris coming over our heads. So we're pinned down here with a bunch of civilians. Be advised, we are taking fire from a very high floor. Every officer that comes up is going to be a target if they're driving on Las Vegas Boulevard because it's coming from the Mandalay Bay on the boulevard side.
The shooter, later identified by police as 64-year-old Stephen Paddock, was in fact firing from 4 football fields away, through 2 windows, 32 stories up. SWAT officers moved in.
CB20, go ahead.
Sit on the suspect's door. I need everybody in that hallway to be aware of it and get back. We need to pop this and see if we get any type of response from this guy to see if he's in here or if he's actually moved out somewhere else.
All units on the 32nd floor, SWAT has explosive breach. Everyone in the hallway needs to move back.
Breach.
Inside, where Paddock had been a guest since last Thursday, they found 19 weapons. Clark County Sheriff Joseph Lombardo.
He had killed himself, and exactly we'll have to go through our body-worn camera and existing video whether we engaged him at the same approximate time or not.
Gail Davis said the terror seemed to last forever.
I've never been that scared in my life ever.
Even when people managed to get out of the enclosed concert area down over here and were running down these streets, they were still running in fear with the sound of gunfire echoing off the buildings all around them. Elaine?
John, tell me about what's happening on the scene right now.
Well, what we have here are 2 pretty complex crime scenes that are still being investigated. The 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel is a crime scene, particularly the room from which the shooter fired hundreds of rounds down into this concert area, and where he had many weapons and many more rounds of ammunition, and where he killed himself. That's only one crime scene that's still under investigation and is off limits to guests, although most of the rest of the hotel is now open. The other crime scene, of course, is the concert area itself, where 59 people died and where 500 were wounded. These are very complex crime scenes that will be investigated. You see, this street behind us here is still closed as well. This is where people escaped, many people escaped from the gunfire.
And John, does it seem as though other parts of the city, even as the investigation continues, that other parts of the city are somehow returning to normal?
Certainly, there's some return to normal going on here, but that may be difficult in this city that is so associated with fun and good times that this is certainly not that, and it may take some time to get over this. Certainly, the great restrictions that have been on this city that came on from last night through much of the morning, where many roads were roadblocked for much of the night and into the morning. The major freeway was blocked. The airport was closed or had restricted flights on it. There were a lot of restrictions in a lot of areas. Most of those roadblocks are now gone, so the city is getting back to normal to some extent. But it's hard to think of Las Vegas in quite the same way today.
Absolutely. And John, often when things like this happen, there are very public displays of grief and outpourings of support. I wonder, have you seen anything like that since you've been there, or any kind of makeshift memorials, for instance, in the city?
As far as makeshift memorials go, I haven't seen those myself as yet, and it may be partly because so much of the area around the crime scene has been blocked off. There's not easy access to walk up and place flowers, and of course it may also have something to do with the nature of the city. People who were victims of this, we know, came from all over. It's not like this is a tragedy just for Las Vegas or for a small city. This is a widespread tragedy. These people came from many parts of the country, even from outside the country. So as far as those makeshift memorials, we haven't seen those as yet. I haven't seen them personally, at least. There may be reasons for that. Maybe something we do see in the days ahead.
All right, John Blackstone in Las Vegas for us. John.